Good afternoon, everybody. And I promise you we're going to get through this as quickly as possible. I've been to many of these before, and at the end, you're ready for it to be over with. But I tell you, we have had so many people help and make this thing happen. If we had everybody speak today who really was a part of this, we'd be here for hours. And nobody wants to do that. I also guarantee you that when this thing's built, it's going to have a state-of-the-art air conditioning system. So, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today for this exciting, historic occasion. We're honored to welcome Governor John Bel Edwards and a number of esteemed guests to Lake Charles today for this moment that has been years in the making. And I got to tell you, over the last year and a half, there were a lot of evenings where I put my head on the pillow at night and I thought, man, is this project going to fall apart? And it did not. It did not, and we're here today. In November 2018, we gathered here in this exact spot to announce Port Wonder, a fully funded public-private partnership slated to bring together a brand new state-of-the-art children's museum and Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Science and Education Center. In October of 2019, we gathered here once again to announce plans for Crying Eagle's lakefront restaurant and microbrewery. I think I saw the Avery family here today. Avery's, you guys are awesome. Give them a round of applause. I don't know of a family and group of investors that cares more about this community than the Averys and the ownership of Crying Eagle. Also, Governor, I want to let you know you are not the most important person here today. My wife is here, Becky. Thank you for joining us today. At no point during either of these exciting moments in 2018 and 2019 could any of us have predicted what our community would experience in 2020 and the first half of 2021. Standing here before you today on the heels of what has truly been an unprecedented and challenging time for Southwest Louisiana is truly surreal. We are so thrilled to be here, celebrating the continued commitment and investment of a number of partners who have remained determined to see this project through no matter the obstacle. Before we get on with our program, I'm going to take the dangerous step of trying to acknowledge elected officials. And if I skip anybody, I apologize. Please hold your applause until the end. We're honored to have with us today City Council members Rodney Guillen, John Ayu, Stuart Weatherford, Mark Eckert, State Senators Mike Reese, Ronnie Johns, Mark Abraham, Representatives Les Farnham, Brett Guyman, Calcasieu Parish Police Jurors Mike Smith, Tony Guillory, President Brian Abshire, Ron Hayes, Anthony Barty, Brian Beam, Administrator. Also from the Calcasieu Parish School Board, Annette Ballard, Mac Delafosse, Desmond Wallace. And also, though they're not elected officials, I want to acknowledge Jeffrey Svensson, the President of the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Foundation, and Missy Fox, the Executive Director. Also joining us today, members of the Downtown Development Authority, Diana Ross, Jacqueline Simeon, Laura Marinovich, Kevin Melton, with Chenault, Keith Allen with Lake Charles Regional Airport, George Swift with the SWA Alliance, Dr. Gerald McKell with McNeese, Dr. Neil Aspinwall with Suella, Sarah Judson with the Community Foundation, Kyle Evanston with the Convention Visitors Bureau, Denise Durrell with United Way, also Tim Castle is here with the Calcasieu Parish Trust Authority, and Alvin Stevens, and with Port of Lake Charles, Mike Eason. If I didn't miss you, I apologize, but that's a pretty big group right there. Thank you again for being with us here today. Port Wonder will be an educational and entertainment venue located here on the north shore of Lake Charles between the Cypress Alligator Pond and former Harris parking garage. You can see behind me the work on reclaiming a portion of the lake has been completed, and that pad will house this future development. We wouldn't be here today without an innovative and unique public-private partnership that is providing the funding needed without asking citizens for any additional taxation. At this time, I want to acknowledge these partners, and again, there's a lot. I want to ask for anyone affiliated with these agencies to please rise and remain standing. Hold your applause until the end. Anyone with the City of Lake Charles, the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury, Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, Calcasieu Parish Trust Authority, Calcasieu Parish School Board, Bill Dore Enterprises, Entergy, Junior League of Lake Charles Memorial Hospital, Lake Charles Regional Airport, P66, Port of Lake Charles, Sasol, State Farm, Convention and Visitors Bureau, United Way, Ward 3 Recreation, the Ziegler Foundation, the Garrick family, Landlocked Aviation, Safety Council of Southwest Louisiana, and the Calcasieu Parish Library. Ladies and gentlemen, standing before you is a coalition of the group of people that helped provide this funding, a fully funded event. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you. Now, a large portion of the funding for Port Wonder emerged from the BP oil spill settlement. The Trustee Implementation Group, commonly called the TIG, was responsible for making sure these dollars were used appropriately, and their support for Port Wonder was paramount. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the TIG agencies and would ask for anyone affiliated with them to please rise and remain standing. Please hold your applause until the end. Louisiana Coastal Protection and Restoration Agency, Louisiana Department of Natural Resources, Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, Louisiana Oil Spill Coordinator's Office, Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, U.S. Department of Commerce, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, U.S. Department of the Interior, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the National Park Service, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Give these, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Additionally, I want to take a moment to recognize several other key partners who have made it possible for us to be here today. At this time, I'm going to acknowledge these partners and would ask for anyone affiliated with these agencies to please rise, raise your hand, or remain standing. Please hold your applause until the end. I've got to recognize architect Randy Goodlow, C7A, the Lemoyne Company, CSRS, D.W. Jessen and Associates, and Provident Resources Group. Thank you for this service. And now, without further delay, it's my esteemed honor to introduce a man who has been a great supporter of this project since its inception. And I mean that. The man to my left has supported this project and supported this community. And I really appreciate his friendship and his support. The governor of the great state of Louisiana, John Bel Edwards. Governor.
That sun is inching very, very close to get this over here, so we're going to be quick. Good afternoon. Thank all of you for being here today, and I'm glad that Nick recognized all the elected officials, and I think everybody here. I don't have to do that. And there's a slight breeze, which is a blessing, and it's also a blessing that it's not 150 mile an hour breeze. But he did say something about a microbrewery, and I'm looking around for the cold beer. I don't know. This is my second event here in the Lake Charles area today, and it's another sign of progress that's being made every day. This one didn't just happen to come together, though. I'm going to tell you, this required an awful lot of hard work. And the vision for this is that of Nick Hunter. The hardest work put in to this project becoming a reality was done by Nick Hunter. And so I want to ask all of you to recognize him with your applause right now. I know that too many lives are turned upside down for too long here in Southwest Louisiana. Time and time again, you've been hit here in Lake Charles and elsewhere. Pandemic, Laura, Delta, winter storm, the May flood, and we're back in hurricane season again. I'm telling you, I am inspired by the goodness, the decency, the generosity of the people across Louisiana, but nobody exemplifies that, no group, better, and unfortunately more frequently than the people here in Southwest Louisiana. But we are turning a page towards a brighter future, and this groundbreaking signifies that. It was supposed to take place last fall. We had to put it off, but we weren't going to put the project off. This is going to be a state-of-the-art children's museum and science education center the first major development in what will become a string of projects to reshape the lake and to attract visitors. There is no reason with the daily traffic count on I-10 right there that more people aren't getting off and coming right here and spending time in Lake Charles, and we're going to make that happen. My thank you list is not as long as the mayor's, but I do want to thank the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries and Jack Monasse, our secretary. Thank you. I want to thank the city, the Children's Museum of Southwest Louisiana, and the Louisiana Trustee Implementation Group. And just understand, that's the group that decides how we spend BP dollars in Louisiana. And I'm going to stop there just for a second, and this is a gross overgeneralization. But this is not just a project where different pieces were found and put together. These dollars were initially going to go elsewhere. And Nick put in the work to figuring out, okay, how can we accomplish everything that we were going to accomplish initially, but do it down here and still satisfy everybody who had to make some changes in their plans. And he had to deal with all the different groups that he just talked about. So this would have been hard if there was one single source of funding and one group to work with. But it happened with all of those different groups, and they're all taken care of in the end. And I think that is why we value public-private partnerships as much as we do. And I am looking forward to coming back. And the center's going to feature aquariums, a touch tank, interactive exhibits about Louisiana fisheries, wildlife habitats, ecology. There'll be a fishing pier for public use, and this is a place where wildlife and fisheries can come and host fishing and other educational outreach programs. There will be an economic boost to the area. It's going to work hand in hand with our coast protection and restoration efforts. You know, we have the most sophisticated coastal restoration master plan in the country, really in the world. 50 years, $50 billion. But one day our generation is going to have to exit the stage. And the next generation is going to have to step up and understand the challenges and why it's necessary to continue that work. And educating that next generation here is part of our plan for long-term success. I can't wait for the children and families from near and far to experience the wonder that is our ecosystem thanks to this project. One more announcement to make, and that is that more than $315 million in federal coronavirus relief aid has been allocated to 290 Louisiana towns and cities and villages under the American Rescue Plan. This is not the money that went directly to some of the larger metropolitan areas, and I think you've already received your notice, Mayor. But of those 290 communities, one is DeQuincy. It will receive $1.14 million. The money's available, by the way, in the next few days. Sulphur will receive $7.4 million. Benton, 1.19, and all the other communities. And those notices have gone out. And I think this is going to make a tremendous difference across the state as we recover from the pandemic. But those dollars will make a much bigger difference in Southwest Louisiana, where we recover from so much more than just the pandemic. And so I appreciate the Biden administration and President Biden, Congress, our congressional delegation for this support. Lastly, if you haven't done so already, please help us to continue to protect ourselves and our loved ones by getting COVID vaccine. We're not where we want to be and where we need to be, quite frankly. We're doing better every single day, but it's slower than it needs to be. We've had 10,700 or so people who died from COVID. 99.9% of them were unvaccinated. And basically every illness, every hospitalization, and every death today from COVID was preventable. So please think about that as we go forward. And you can go to visit vaccines.gov, and you can just put in a zip code. It'll tell you where the nearest place to get the vaccine. There are over 1,500 locations in Louisiana today. where you can get that vaccine. And for those of you who've had at least one shot already, and maybe to get some folks to do that if you haven't, by doing that, you can qualify for $1 million. A chance at $1 million, isn't it? We do have over 500,000 people as of this morning that have registered for that chance to $1 million. And I'll tell you that the first drawing will happen soon. You have until July 9th to register for that first one. So please take a look at all of that. I want to thank all of you for being here today to come out and celebrate this project. And if there's anything that we've done in the last several months that really speaks to how we're going to build back better and stronger and build for the future, it's projects like this. And so I thank all of you for being part of it. I want to thank the mayor again for his vision and for his very hard work to make it happen. And we're going to be here with Lake Charles, with Calcasieu Parish, with Southwest Louisiana throughout this process of recovery and rebuilding. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Governor. We would not be here today without the support of the Lake Charles City Council. Their trust in this vision for this project is very much appreciated. At this time, I'd like to invite Lake Charles City Council President Stuart Weatherford to share some comments on behalf of the council. President Weatherford.
Thank everyone for being here, and thank the governor for being here. The mayor this has really been a team effort, a true public-private joint venture. State and local government entities, local not-for-profits, and big not-for-profits, and individuals in our community have really allowed this to happen. And it's been a long time coming. We've been looking at some of it. We've been talking about this for a very long time. I see one of my old council mates here, Marshall Simeon, and when we came in 2005, we came into Katrina and then Rita. So it's and praying not to have to repeat that in this upcoming term that we're going to, myself and my council mates are going to have, that we have to deal with another 2 hurricanes like we have this past year. But we persevered through all this, and really the mayor has shepherded us through this process, through disasters, weather disasters, COVID. We stayed the course, he stayed the course, and we're going to have this great facility that will be behind us, that will take people off this interstate. But it's not only going to be for tourists, it's going to be for the local children here, local education. It's going to be a place for them to be able to come and be proud of, and we're going to be able to rebuild our community around. So I just wanted to thank everyone for that, for being here. It's been great being here, and like I said, thank you, and this is going to be a great project for us. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Weatherford. We're blessed here in Southwest Louisiana to have positive working relationships with other local governmental agencies. Please join me in welcoming Calcasieu Parish Police Street President Brian Abshire.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Governor, for joining us today. It's good to see you. I'm very pleased to see development on what the public has wanted so long, our beautiful lakefront. We're at a time in our history post-disaster where quality of life projects and economic development opportunities are critical in all areas of our parish, especially in our highly trafficked areas like this one. This project falls into all those categories. I want to thank the governor for being here. 2 groundbreakings today in Southwest Louisiana with biolabs earlier this morning. We hope to have many more on our road to recovery. It just shows how great this community is and how we can come together to recover from these disasters. I want to take the opportunity to encourage the continued efforts by our governor and everyone here in pushing a unified front toward a long overdue disaster recovery appropriation in which every disaster, especially the magnitude that we've had, has gotten in the past. Again, I want to thank everyone for the opportunity to be here today. I look forward to the development on the lakefront and what it's going to bring to our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. The Children's Museum of Southwest Louisiana has undergone several chapters in her growth in her decades-long history here in Lake Charles, but none as grand, as exciting as what is about to occur. today we're honored to have with us Allison Montgomery, Interim Director of the Children's Museum. Allison, thank you.
Glad I brought my notes, but these gentlemen all did, so I figured I could too. I want to first thank every single person here today for being here. I want to thank Governor Edwards and Mayor Hunter for being a part of this project from the beginning, and also our consultants, our architects, and everyone on the team. The Children's Museum has been in this community for 33 years, and it has lived in the hearts and minds of children. In that time, our families have grown, and so have our locations. In fact, many of the first children who visited the Children's Museum back in the late 80s and early 90s have now brought their own children to play. While working at the museum, I have been able to witness them grow and learn. This project started as a dream to have a location that was visible from the interstate. We wanted families traveling through on I-10 to stop and enjoy not only the Children's Museum, but to be a part of our city and venture out and discover what it had to offer. We wanted a place where school children could visit and enjoy modern exhibits and have accessible spaces and just an outdoor area which our other previous locations had not offered. To be honest, which many on the project will laugh, I was very passionate about also just having a designated safe school bus drop-off area and adequate bathrooms for all those children. When the idea came about to combine the Children's Museum and Wildlife and Fisheries and offer a science center, it seemed like a match made in heaven. I knew that working together we would be able to offer programs that we would no longer be able to offer in our space because of space limits and restrictions on just the amount of children we were seeing at our other location. Today, that dream has become more than I ever could have imagined. Over the past 16 months, our community has faced so much, and our partners and leaders in the community have cheered us on every single step of the way. This project has become a sign of resilience and rebirth. To the children of Southwest Louisiana, Port Wonder will be like a rainbow that they see after storms. It will be a place where children can bring their grandkids to relive their childhood joys and share memories and make new ones, which they will have in this very spot. I think you are actually sitting in what will be the lobby. So I do not think anyone could have predicted what the future had 5 years ago for us, but I am confident that God was guiding the plans. He was putting the right people in the right places at the right times, and that is why we are all here today. On behalf of the Children's Museum Board of Directors and all of the thousands of children that we serve, I thank you. I also want to thank Mayor Hunter for all his efforts and hard work and dedication to this project. Without his efforts over the last couple of years, this dream would not have been possible. The future looks bright for our children, and I am so grateful for all of you because I think that we could all use some much needed sunshine. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. And while the construction of this building is fully funded, please keep in mind that the Children's Museum will be launching a separate capital campaign in the coming weeks. They will need our support, and I challenge this community to respond. I would now like to call upon Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Secretary Jack Monse. Secretary Monse.
Governor, Mayor Hunter, along with all the local and state elected officials, I want to wish you a good afternoon. It's kind of warm out here. If I would have checked first, I wouldn't have a tie because the governor doesn't have a tie. He didn't manage that for me. The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries is happy to be a part of this great idea and the eventual reality that will bring jobs, economic development along with fun and education, especially for the young people of Lake Charles and the Southwest Louisiana region. We understand rebuilding continues in this region. Just to let you know, the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, our employees and their families that live here are also part of that rebuilding process. Now today we're happy to be part of this wonderful project. LDWF is partnering with the City of Lake Charles, the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Foundation, our chairman, Mr. Jeffrey, helped us make that happen, the Children's Museum of Southwest Louisiana, to operate a science and nature center at Fort Wonder. LDWF would like to thank the Louisiana Trustee Implementation Group for choosing this project and providing $7 million to make it happen. You've heard what will be included in the facility. Of course, I'm extremely proud of the exhibits that Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries will have pertaining to our resources and our habitats. After all, that's what makes Louisiana the sportsman's paradise. The educational programs are our bread and butter for wildlife and fisheries. We want to get as many young people involved as possible. And yes, you will see me and probably the governor fishing off the pier here. But I got to tell you, I'm going to have to give him some pointers because he's not too good at catching big fish. He's just good at catching a lot of fish. When this is completed, I agree with the others. There is no doubt that it will be a showplace that will attract visitors from across the nation. And let me say this, Wildlife and Fisheries is extremely proud to be part of this project. And thank you all so much for attending.
Thank you, Secretary Monse. And finally, again, we would not be here today without the support on every level from the partners we previously recognized. The last piece of bringing a fully funded lakefront development project to life became a reality because of our private partners. People like P66, State Farm, Entergy. Actually, I think that Philip May, the CEO of Entergy, is with us today. Lake Charles Memorial Hospital and Bill and Kay Dore. Over the coming weeks, we want to take individual opportunities to thank each of these and other private partners. For Fort Wonder, Sasol is our largest private donor and was one of the first commitments at the table. And so at this time, I'd like to invite Brad Griffith, Sasol's Executive Vice President of Chemicals, to share some thoughts with us. Brad?
Thank you, Mayor Hunter. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for that kind introduction. Sasol is proud to be a partner in this exciting addition to Southwest Louisiana, a place that our employees call home, our Sasol calls home, and we hope to do so for a long time. In my nearly 30 years career with Sasol, I spent almost a third of that in the Southwest Louisiana area, and my two daughters grew up here in the early stages of their career, with their education in the Calcio Parish schools. They learned French in the immersion programs, and they enjoyed the Children's Museum greatly in the mid to late 90s. And so it's very important to me also to see this project come to life. Sasol places a great deal of importance on focusing in our communities that we live and operate in on STEM education. It's an initiative with the goal of strengthening the local communities and understanding what we do, but also in educating and providing opportunities for a local workforce to develop and a pipeline of opportunities for career development. And it's a must-have for us for sustainability in Southwest Louisiana, and we're proud to be a partner in this. As Mayor Hunter said, it's a significant investment by us in this, and we're proud to be a part of that. We owe a great deal of appreciation to Governor Edwards, to Mayor Hunter, the congressional delegations that are here, the other business and community leaders. So thank you for allowing us to play a part in bringing this partnership together. Having recently completed our own project across the river, I have an appreciation for what it takes to even get to the point of holding a golden shovel. And so I can understand the trials of getting this project to life, and I think once we get it going, we're all going to be very proud of what we see. And this is a model of collaboration. You've heard this referenced several times today. The private-public partnership is what will bring our communities and make our communities stronger, and especially in Southwest Louisiana, where resilience is the word that we talk a lot about. So again, thank you. We're honored to be your partner. We look forward to the project.
Thank you, Brad. All right, now as we close out the program and move to the ceremonial groundbreaking, we're going to be as efficient as possible. We'll be taking 2 formal pictures. Don't worry, these shovels will be out there, multiple opportunities for anyone to grab a shovel and take a picture if you want to, but 2 formal pictures. First, I'm going to ask for the first picture to be all elected officials and everyone that's seated up here to please join. And the second will be 1 representative. I'll ask for 1 representative from each of our funders and funding partners, those gentlemen and agencies that I called out a moment ago, 1 from each. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not pie in the sky. It's not they should do. I wish they would one day. Why don't they? When will they ever? It's happening. So, thank you.